Bright Water Solar Irrigation Project help rural Africans farm food for their families. Meet Steve. Steve lives in Africa. Steve has a family which he needs to care for, and he is a subsistence farmer. He grows food to feed his family. Steve and his family rely heavily on the rain to water their crops. Without rain, his crops will die and Steve will have no food to feed his family. This means that Steve and his family will go hungry. Hunger is a big problem in Africa due to drought, flooding, poverty, and oppression. There are many people who suffer with this hunger problem in Africa. Steve is just one of many people who find themselves in this unfortunate and desperate situation. Steve will help us understand this problem. Steve needs his crops. His crops need the rain. Therefore, Steve needs rain. From his crops, he gets food to feed his family and also money to pay for school fees, groceries, and medical expenses. These things are necessary for life, which come from the rain to Steve and his family. But what if? What if there's no rain? The crops will not get access to the irrigation it needs, and Steve will not get the crops he needs, and therefore he will not get that which is necessary for life. Steve will have a hunger problem. There are many people who suffer with this hunger problem in Africa. This is a season known as the hunger season. When you and I think of a season, we think of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. But in Africa, they think of the planting season, rainy season, hunger season, and harvest season. This is a cycle which repeats itself every year. The happiest time of year is the harvest season, which follows on from the saddest time of year, which is hunger season. But at harvest time, it's a time of plenty. They store up some of this food in their traditional silos to be food for the next year. And as the cycle repeats itself, they have enough food for the planting season and the rainy season. But during the hunger season, the food runs out. They have not been able to store up enough food. This is why it is called the hunger season. They now have to wait for harvest. At harvest time, as we've said, some food is set aside for the next year's food. The remaining food is put in bags and carried off to the market to be sold. Unfortunately, they do not get a good price because at harvest time many people are trying to sell their corn. The price is very low. Muslim traders buy most of this corn. They store it in their mosques and homes until the hunger season, when food is on high demand. They now make this food available to the same people whom they bought it from, but at a much higher price, up to 8 times the amount. The poor people cannot afford this, and this intensifies the hunger season. Muslims do, however, give free food to the hungry, but only to those who convert to Islam. What is the solution to this hunger problem? Highlight Africa proposes Bright Water, which is a solar-powered irrigation system. Coming back to Steve's hunger problem, we believe that Bright Water will provide the solution by bringing irrigation in place of the rain during drought and providing a solution for Steve to get access to what is necessary for life. How are we going to implement this? How can we help Steve to access this Bright Water system, which is rather costly? Steve is struggling financially. He cannot afford the system. He will need to get help from outside. Highlight Africa, on behalf of people like Steve, seeks an audience in the outside world of civilization and abundance to present the Brightwater Solar Irrigation Project as a solution to this hunger problem. We are looking for investors and partners who will help fund this project. These funds will be brought back to Africa and used to install a solar irrigation system on Steve's land. This will make Steve's land exceedingly more productive, providing a greater income. This, of course, will improve Steve's financial situation, and with the excess, he will be able to repay the partners and investors who made this possible. Steve will ultimately own the entire system and perpetually increase his economic position, whilst retaining his dignity. Will you consider helping Steve and the many people like him? You can help us bring a solution to this hunger problem in Africa. We are looking for partners and investors who will help us fund this project to help rural African families farm food during drought. You can make a difference.